LaMichael James going up. There he goes. Triple up at 40. He made it. He will. It's a touchdown. Oregon is going back to the Rose Bowl.
USC tripped up, but the Quackadak took advantage of that. The Ducks ending USC's reign atop of the Pac-10, going all the way to the Rose Bowl up against Ohio State. Now on Sunday, one Oregon quarterback will really enjoy his eggs at breakfast, because on Saturday, the Ducks will name a starter for the season opener. You see, the race is so tight between Darron Thomas and Nate Costa that Chip Kelly says he's even judging the two on the way they eat their eggs in the morning. And for the record, Thomas holds the edge there because of his preference for over easy. We know this: both quarterbacks can play, even if there are misconceptions about how they play.
And on the offensive side of the ball, we need to finalize who our quarterback's going to be, and it'll be between Nate Costa and Darron Thomas. The common notion is that Darron's the athlete and Nate's the student of the game, or Darron is a real student of the game, and Nate's a lot more athletic than people think he is. You know, Nate actually ran for 1,800 yards his senior year in high school. You know, so it's kind of a unique thing when people say, well, one guy's one guy's the other. That's really not the case. And our offense has enough flexibility in it to play to the strengths of whoever plays quarterback for us.
This is the tell of the tape. Nate Costa up against Darron Thomas. Coach Bellotti, I want to know, though, how do you like your quarterbacks to eat their eggs?
I like them to eat almonds. Make it easy. I'll tell you what, these two quarterbacks are neck and neck right now. Darron Thomas is 3 for 3, mobile, faster, taller, has a higher release point. But Nate Costa, who's only 1 year left, 3 knee surgeries on 1 knee, is a sentimental favorite. He's the toughest. He's a great leader. The decision will come on Saturday. But I'll tell you what, I think the coaches will pick whoever. It's not about the future. It's about right now.
And with this team, we told you at the top of the show, it's likely if Jeremiah Masoli was coming back, it would be the #3 team in the national preseason polls. You recruited these guys. You know them well. You coached them. Can one of them become the type of force down the road that Masoli was in the seasons past for the Ducks?
Yes, I really think they can. They won a game last year with Nate Costa. He did a great job. They've got a lot of weapons. They've got 18 starters returning on that team. So both offensively and defensively, they can do some things. And I think that this future for Darron Thomas is probably brighter than for Nate Costa, simply because Nate's a 5th-year senior. But the reality is they'll go with, as I said, who's going to help them win right now.
I think there's a lot of people that would love a job like this, stepping in, handing the ball off to LaMichael James, handing the ball off to Kenyon Bonner.
I could do it. I'll tell you what, I could hand the ball to them. Are you in the mix
for the quarterback spot? Eligibility left. What do you think, Charles?
I think when you look at it, you have to be happy if you're whoever that is. I mean, if it's Thomas or Costa, because of LaMichael James. He has ESP, explosion, speed, and power, and he also has Bayou ability. He's a guy from Texarkana, Texas, in the middle of nowhere if you haven't been there, but if you go there, you'll know it's LaMichael James' hometown. I also say he's a football player with track speed. I mean, he's got that ability to make people miss, go by them, go to the house. He's going to miss the first game, but I think clearly they don't need him against New Mexico.
Defensive numbers even getting better than they had 1 year ago. You talked, though, about the Oregon Ducks defensively. What happens from here when it goes to Oregon?
Well, I think you got to look at Kenny Rowe, who had 11.5 sacks last year, and Casey Matthews, the son of Clay Matthews Sr., outstanding linebacker. One of those things where you have 2 really strong guys up front in that front 7 really helping you out. I think when you look at this Oregon defense, that's going to be the weakness, but they can make it a strength, Coach, and you talked about it.
I think, again, you know, Brandon Bear, Deion Jordan is a defensive end. They moved over from the tight end spot, and he's 6'7", 240. He can go. Nick Alioti's really excited. I think he's got some of the best athletes up front and at linebacker, the most depth at linebacker he's had in many, many years.
Ducks leading the conference in fewest yards allowed 1 season ago.
Last 5 years, 30-plus sacks every year. So they are clearly a team that you can see here. At Tennessee, I think that's a challenge. I think Tennessee will be ready to play. And, Coach, you've had schedules like this. You got to look at the Pac-10. What do you see on this?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think Tennessee's not quite the team they were. They have some problems right now, some injuries. But Tennessee is a tough place to go play and take a team in and try to win.
And especially if you got a quarterback with maybe not the most career starts under their belt, going to Rocky Top, some issues, and hard not to focus December 4th. You got the Civil War, because in the past 2 matchups, that has been a game that if Oregon State would have won, they would have been the team representing the Pac-10 in the Rose Bowl. Now, it's no more Sean Canfield, one of the most underrated seasons a year ago for